You're listening to the episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where we're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, you stretched that one out longer than normal, but that's fine.
My bad.
No, it's good. It's good. You doing all right, Taylor?
I'm well. How are you?
Tired.
Same.
Carrying all these heavy burdens. It really wears you out. Anyway, speaking of heavy burdens, we're going to talk about insurance.
Oh, fun.
Right.
Yeah, everybody's favorite. Okay, let's going to have to pretty close, but maybe that far from there.
Okay.
There you go.
Is that better?
That's better. All right.
Okay.
We got Melissa Harmon here, and she's going to talk about insurance. And I know that people go, oh, geez, insurance. No, it's exceptionally important, particularly at our stage of life. That you need to be well covered, and she's going to tell us why and how she can help you with that. A lot of people really don't pay a lot of attention to their insurance, but I've learned that you really need to kind of keep up with it, and because you might get better rates or you might get a better coverage or whatever else, and people might just get a coverage and let it roll on forever. But until I met Melissa at BNI, and every week she was giving us these horror stories about people not being covered. You ever notice that in the BNI meetings, like, Sarah Pierce will get up or Lisa Smith will get up or Justin will get up and they'll go, oh man, you should see what I just saw. This house, they wouldn't take care of, and all these doomsday scenarios. And then you go and say, well, I had a friend who had a car wreck and now she works 4 jobs because she doesn't have any car insurance. And,
Right.
anyway.
Well, and I find that the biggest thing that when I'm asking people about their coverage that they currently have, if they're shopping or they're looking for a different company, is people really have no idea what they have. And it's the agent's job to educate people on what your coverages are, what is covered, what is not covered, because there's a basic policy. Just talking about homeowners insurance, there's a basic policy, and then there's endorsements that you can add to that. So the biggest thing is...
Oh, wait, are you about to go into the whole explanation? Because I want to do the sponsors first. And then,
go right ahead.
Yeah, and then, but see, I put you at the end of the first run of sponsors. Then you can jump into all these things.
No, yeah, that's...
All right.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you were going to go, okay, 20 minutes later, I got people that pay for this.
That pay for this, and I'm one of them, so I'm excited about that.
Well, I hope it works for you. I bet it will.
Yeah.
Anyway, we thank you, Daniel, across at Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Hope you're doing well with the family and all this. It's over behind the Stone Soup Kitchen, and it's a really good place, and it's clean, it's safe, it's supervised, so you're not just going over there and working out all by yourself. You're going to have trainers and supervision, so it's a good place to go work out, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Then you have Shandy Stocksville. She likes to go traveling and check out other people's real estate issues. She's been posting from her trip in Tennessee about real estate law and all this other stuff. I think she just finds real estate fascinating, which is a good thing to have. It's like Melissa, you find insurance fascinating, and I hope the pills you take for that are having their effect. But anyway, Stocksville Group will help you get a house here in Burleson, because it's a real issue getting into a decent house in Burleson, because the demand is rising, and
Yes.
we have new developments going up all over the place. And I'll have the mayor on Tuesday, and I'm going to ask him all about that. Also, thank you to Otto at our place. You've been there many times. That's where I take the BNI one-to-ones.
I love our place.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's a real, just a hometown feeling. It's comfortable. The food's good. Service is great. One thing I really like about it is they have a pretty consistent wait staff, and so you get to know the young ladies and a couple of the gentlemen that wait tables. And it's because Otto, it doesn't have the staff turnover that you see in restaurants. They stay for a while.
Yeah, they do.
And that's to his credit. Also, thank you to Chris over at Wild Cigar. Tomorrow, it's on the 9th, he's having some sort of party, if you will, if you want to call it that. It's a kickoff where they have discounts on drinks, and they're going to have a cigar sponsor there giving out samples or discounts anyway. And so go over there to Wild Cigar and Culture, and it's they'll have a couple of the ball games on, but it won't be loud. It's not a sports bar. I like going over there because you can watch the game, but you can still have a conversation. It isn't like blasting on front of like 18 different TV screens. But anyway, it's a great place to go over by the Standard. Thank you, Chris, for all your support. And also Local Life Magazine. Have you talk to Tiffany Griffin about advertising here?
I haven't. I need to get in touch with her. Someone else mentioned that just a few days ago, that was a great.
It is. It's a very effective ad vehicle, if you will. I mean, it goes to 30,000 homes. About 110,000 people see it. Also, I see a lot of copies in businesses, on the coffee table or the counter or something like that. Otto puts on several on his checkout counter. And, I mean, it gets around. So you got to talk to Tiffany Griffin about this. Or Tiffany Nico is her now. She got married about 2 weeks ago. But
Okay.
yeah, it was a really nice wedding. And I'm going to have her on sometime in October. She's just really been covered up, of course. Kids back in school, getting married, putting out the magazine.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to wonder what to do with her time. And then, here we go, Texas Farm Bureau, Melissa Harmon. Check out this number, 682-804-0534. That's 682-804-0534. So, let's go back to the insurance. In our case, you're now my agent. And I had a good insurance company. I don't, it's a competitor, so I won't say who they are. But I was not dissatisfied with my insurance company. And I think a lot of people think that, well, if I'm happy enough, that I really don't need to mess with it. The service I got from the other company was fine. But when you and I started talking, I was able to save a few bucks.
Yeah.
And that's believe me, at our stage in life, every dollar you want to save is. My dad had an expression: you save $1,000 by saving $1 1,000 times, and that's kind of how this works.
That's a good one. I might need to use that.
Yeah,
sometimes.
But he has all these sayings. But you were able to show me ways I could save a little money and not sacrifice coverage.
Correct. Because there's so many times that people, especially right now with insurance, really all over the United States, but in the state of Texas especially, has changed so much in the last 9 months. Last year we had so many we had 9 catastrophe claims in a year last year.
That's
we
a
don't
bunch.
normally have that, in 3 or 4 years. So, and it was hit pretty hard. And the one in February with that freeze was really bad.
And then
it hit the whole state.
And they had that storm we had about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And then they had in Dallas apparently a couple of days ago.
The flooding.
Yeah. And trees being uprooted and damaging homes and all this business.
And the problem is people go online because a lot of companies are now doing mostly online policies. And again, I'm not going to talk about the companies. Everybody knows what they are. But you get online and you don't have an agent. So you get somebody on the phone that is trained to sell that policy, but they're not really educating you on what you need as a homeowner or what you need on your car insurance in the event you're in a large accident where somebody's hurt or, God forbid, killed. Yes. Making sure your liability limits are where they need to be. Explaining why state minimum is a horrible idea, things like that. And then the biggest part is having someone, when you do have a claim, when the unexpected happens, having an agent that is going to be there to be the go-between, between you and the adjuster.
That's one of the biggest reasons that Rob and I came to you because, like I said, the company we had before were fine, but it was all over the phone or online. And when we had made claims, you're not talking to somebody face to face across the table like we're doing now.
Right.
And I think we valued that. And yes, the savings we got from going from to you to the Farm Bureau at the Farm Bureau was enough to make it worth our while. But I think for Robin in particular, she wanted to have somebody she could talk to. Right. And face to face. I mean,
if something were to happen, because I've been in this business for 22 years, and I truly love what I do. I believe that I'm helping people protect the things that they work hard for. I believe I'm helping people in the life insurance part of it, of making sure that their family's covered if the unexpected happens, because we are all going to die one day, and it just is the way it is. And making sure that those you left behind are taken care of, or even just to bless someone. Like for me, I want to leave my children something. So
right.
But on the home and auto side, that the state tells you have to have your auto insurance, and your mortgage company tells you have to have homeowners insurance, and all they care about is that their loan's going to be paid off. and if something happens. But I have been, I had a good friend that when the tornadoes came through it was about 10 years ago, their house was leveled. You know, and to walk through that devastation with them was really, really hard, and their whole life was turned upside down. But to be able to tell them it's going to be okay, you know, we've got you covered, because we had sat down, we had reviewed their policy. I knew what coverages they had, and I knew that even though it was going to take some time to heal from that, both emotionally and then the structure being rebuilt, they didn't have to worry about whether or not their insurance was going to cover them.
And you sell a product you can believe in. That makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
You know that's a good thing, because the Farm Bureau has a really good reputation. Very good for not just customer service, but being fair and appropriate and whatnot. And, you know, I see these commercials a lot about insurance, and I don't really have an opinion about them, but I do know that, you know, not all insurance companies are the same in terms of service and reliability and reputation. And Farm Bureau has been around quite some time. Is that why you went to Farm Bureau? I know you were with another agency before.
I went to Farm Bureau because it was just an opportunity for me to be an agent, and I like that. And my business is about building relationships with people. So my customers aren't just people that I have their insurance. I have a relationship with the people, because you get to know someone pretty well, especially when you're doing life insurance. And so,
yeah, you know a lot more about me than a lot of people do, just from my blood work and all this other stuff and all these questions y'all ask.
I know a lot, but no, it is about relationship. And I love Farm Bureau because they still believe at doing business at the kitchen table.
Right.
You know, sitting down and educating our clients, because we really are risk managers. You know, there's some people, you know, everybody has a different level of risk that's out there. And so you have to find out each individual person, you know, what's important to them, number one, and then explain to them the things that could happen, so that they know. And then they can make an educated decision. Some people still say, no, I just want that state minimum, you know, and I don't like that. But, you know, I always say my advice is free and the decision's yours. But you're going to know what your risks are.
Well, biggest reason I got life insurance, of course, is not really for me, because I won't be needing it if I'm broke. It's for my wife and my kids. You know, if something, God forbid, happened to me on the way home from the studio, I know some people be dancing and singing, but most people be sad. You don't know. But anyway, I'm just saying, but Robin will be taken care of. You know, the mortgage will be paid off, and she'll still have her home. Right. And that's important. And she's getting life insurance as well. She already got hers because her health is great. Yeah. You know, me, got all these little details. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. And when's the last time you had a cigarette? Well, it was 13. Oh, really? I'm so sorry. Click, check the box. You know, it's like. No,
I know. It's a lot of questions.
You know, but it's worth it, you know, to do that. And as far as the car and the home insurance, like I said, I'm getting the exact same coverage. Combined, I'm going to be saving about $90 a month. Right. And I could use $90 any month. Absolutely. And like I said, having you across a table is going to be helpful. But really on the life insurance, I mean, for somebody like myself and Robin getting life insurance, that's almost expected. But what about a young person?
Well, in young people, especially, you know, people in their early 20s or even up to 30, they still have the idea that they're invincible and that's a long time away and they don't have to do it, or they don't want to talk about it because they're like, well, I don't want to talk about it because it's going to be too expensive. They think it's going to be, and what they don't realize is it's going to not be too expensive, but if they wait, it's going to, it's going to get more expensive as they wait. But the biggest thing is making sure, that they have the right kind of insurance as well. And that's my job too. And we don't have enough time here today for me to get into all the different products that there are.
And there are a bunch.
And if you're single and you don't have any children, $1 million life insurance policy doesn't make sense. But like for my boys who are married and both have 2 children, $1 million worth of life insurance does make sense, because it takes their wives are going to have to raise those kids for the next 18 years. And that is expensive. You and I both know how expensive it is.
Oh, yeah.
To raise children
No
in
problem.
college and all of that. So that does make sense. And
Well, I wouldn't want $1 million policy because Robin might look at me in a different way than she does right now. $1 million.
yeah. I don't
Here,
get
have
into
another
I don't
piece
get
of
into
cake.
I don't get into the counseling part.
Here.
Yeah.
Have an extra big shake, or whatever. She's trying to whatever.
Right.
But but I needed it because among other things, I got diabetes. I told the audience that before, and I got family history of cholesterol and high blood pressure, even though it's not an issue now,
Right.
but it's treated. But my term insurance I had was going to expire when I was 69 or 70. Mm-hmm. And I only can imagine what they'd be charging me at age 70.
Oh, right.
And so,
Well, and honestly, you probably couldn't get it
all right.
at that point. And that's the big thing for me is educating people on the fact that you need to get it while you're young and you're healthy, because you don't know if something changes in your health, then you may not qualify. So that's the main reason for getting that. And even on the children's policies, it's guaranteeing their insurability for a lifetime. My niece got juvenile diabetes when I think she was 10. And now life insurance is going to be very, very expensive for her.
Oh, yes.
And so it's just about guaranteeing insurability and making sure that if something happens again, that your family is able to continue on with the lifestyle that they're accustomed to.
Well, and this new policy we just took out last week restarts the clock in effect till age 80.
Right.
And after that, who knows? At that point, God only knows where we'll be. I may be in the choir eternal by then. But as far as, younger people, I would advise getting it. I'm talking to my daughter about it because, she's newly married and they don't think about these things.
They don't think about it. And that's why it's my job. So every single person that I do a home policy for or an auto policy for, I ask them who their life insurance with. And just like on the home and auto, they're like, yeah, I've got it at work. Well, that's great if you can get it at work. But if you leave, you're not going to be able to take it with you. And it's generally 2 times your salary, which is not going to be nearly enough. So my job is just to educate. That's what I look at. Every time I sit down with someone, before I got into the insurance business 22 years ago, I was in the funeral business or part of the funeral business.
Wow.
And I saw the devastation of a young mom with young children that the husband was unexpectedly killed in a car accident. And she was literally a few paychecks away from, having to sell her house. So not only does she not have money to bury her husband, who she thought was coming home after work that day, she didn't have money to pay the bills in the months to come because her full-time job, which is a very noble job, was being a mom. And so that's the things that I try to get them to think about.
And also at this younger age, if they don't have health insurance through the employer, they also need to be thinking about that. Fortunately for me, I go through TRS, and my wife will too very soon. And it's okay. But insurance is one of those adulting kind of things that young people want to do. They're 25 years old. They want to, have a good time. They want to start their careers or finish their education, and they're not thinking about, car wrecks or anything like that. But
no.
But then, if you don't mind me bringing up a story you brought up about a month ago about a young man who died, and his parents had taken life insurance out on him. He was 18, right?
Well, actually, his parents had not taken life insurance out on him. So it was one of my son's best friends, and went out one morning doing what him and his friends had done for years. They were out hog hunting and on one of the side-by-sides and turned a corner too sharp, and other 2 boys were fine, but it landed on his neck. And so, yes, he was 18 years old, and the rest of his life ahead of him is devastating. And so they were having to make funeral arrangements. They had not taken life insurance out on him, and they were going to have to finance this funeral.
You don't have to take out a high dollar
No.
policy just enough to cover these kind of catastrophes for funerals and maybe incidental expenses that come up.
Right.
And so a lot of people don't think about that.
And they don't think about the average cost of a funeral, which is $25,000 plus. And so they were there planning that, and it was already grieving. I mean, they've got their son that's not coming home, and they're having to figure out how to pay for a funeral, and they can't even think. And they got a phone call, and it was from a life insurance agent, and this young man was also in the rodeos. He was a bull rider, and someone had approached him. Someone had done their job and approached him and said, you need to get some life insurance in the event something happens to you. And he had taken out a $125,000 life insurance policy himself that they didn't even know about.
So the parents did get the money at the end.
They did.
That's what I was remembering about the story.
They did.
You know.
They got it, but he had done it, and he had not told them he had done that.
Well,
So that was his little blessing to them, because they were able to not only have the funeral, but the big thing is when you can finance, but you're getting a bill every month reminding you that you just buried your loved one, and I don't want anybody to have to go through that.
That does not sound like a good experience to go through. Thank God I haven't had to do that. And,
Right.
So let's say a 25-year-old buys life insurance. How long will it last? How many years?
Well, there's all different products available. We have 10, 20, and 30-year terms. And of course, during that time, during the time of that term, as they get a little older and their needs change, we would want to convert some of that over into a permanent policy so that they had, amount that was reasonable for final expenses, and a permanent policy that the rate's not going to continue to change as they get older.
The rates don't change once you take out a term.
Absolutely
system.
not, until the term's over.
Until the term's over, yeah.
So
right.
like with my sons and my daughter-in-laws, I would do a 30-year term. Because that makes sense, because they're still in their, now one of my sons is 30, but it makes sense to have a 30-year term to lock that rate in for 30 years.
Is it cheaper than a 20-year term?
No, it is not.
It's more expensive?
A little bit, but when you're that age and you're healthy, it's literally nothing. I did one just a week ago for someone that was 28, and it was like $36 a month for $500,000.
I'd like that deal.
I know, I would too. They won't give it to me either.
Wow. So it's $36 for the length of that term. Well, my wife and I just got off our life insurance. I took out when I was, before even hardly even thinking about it, I took it out when I was late 30s. And it's now, the term is coming to an end, and I let it expire because it was, for me to get renewed by this same company would be about $100 more than I'm paying for currently.
Right.
And so I just let it lapse. And, so this new rate that I'm getting is cheaper than what I would have had if I just continued with the same insurance company. Just said, sure, whenever, you've been fine, and signed a paper, and boom. My coverage was $38 a month for Robin and I. It would have been about $500 for the both of us if we'd renewed with this company. And it's not the same company I was talking about earlier with life insurance. It was something I'd taken a long time ago. And then when it was about 52 or so, Robin said, this isn't enough. It was a small payout.
Right.
And so we took another one from another company, and it wasn't cheap, but the renewal would have been much more substantial.
Right.
So that's what I tell my vast listening audience. I know that insurance is something that I really want to mess with it. I'd rather just, go about my business and hope I never have to, utilize it. I mean, insurance is one of those products you don't really want to use, right? Because you're going, you don't want to have a car wreck or a house destroyed or whatever.
Well, life insurance is the only policy that you have that you're guaranteed you're going to use one day,
I guess that's true.
In a permanent policy, because we're all, it's going to happen someday. And so making plans ahead. And of course, my biggest thing, like I was saying earlier, the state tells you have to have auto insurance, and the mortgage company tells you you have to have home insurance, but no one tells you that you have to have life insurance. But it's the most important insurance that you have. And and I'm very passionate about that and educating people as to why, and
What when it comes to auto insurance, would you recommend? Let's say a car's paid off. Would you recommend just a liability? Or would you recommend the whole package?
it depends on the car. I mean, if you buy a brand new car and you were able to pay cash for it, absolutely not. You would want full coverage. The limits on liability, a lot of people don't understand how that works. They go, I just want what the state offers. Well, that's why they have me to sit and tell them, on your liability limits. I mean, 30,000 and 60,000, which is the state minimum for bodily injury if you hurt someone, is literally a ride in the ambulance to the hospital. That's it. That's what it's covering. I recommend nothing less than 100 and 300,000 for anyone because of the cost of medical today. Everything's gone up. Insurance has gone up. So has healthcare. Everything's gone up. $100,000 property damage, liability. I don't believe anybody should be driving with anything less than that because the cars out there today, you know how expensive cars are. And trucks,
yes.
A brand new truck, and it doesn't even have to be a really nice truck, is $75,000, $80,000.
You're right.
So, but people don't understand how it works, so they just want what they have to have.
Save a few bucks here.
And save a few dollars, and literally it's a few dollars. It's a few dollars a month.
Well, one of my cars is paid off, thank you, but you recommended it, and I accepted that recommendation to keep it at full coverage. And because you said the cars I drive and my wife drives retain their value,
right?
And you don't have to, somebody hits you.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of uninsured motorists out there. I don't know how they get the car inspected or their taxes paid without that documentation, but it's apparently somebody's getting it. Because it seems like every time you hear a story about, I got hit and he didn't have any insurance, it's always a hassle.
That uninsured motorist is very, very important. And people are like, I don't need that. You do need that. It's also underinsured. So those people that insist on taking that state minimum level,
yeah,
it's ensuring that your vehicle is going to be covered as well as your bodily injury.
Well, I'm going to go through the second round of sponsors. I'm going to ask you a little about yourself, how you got an insurance. And also you want to talk about this golf tournament for Teen Challenge.
Okay.
You're very involved with this Fort Worth charity. It is in Fort Worth, right? Okay, I got to get it right because I usually do have nonprofits from Burleson on, so I got to keep these straight.
I know, yes, it's in Fort Worth.
Well, good. And it's a great thing you're doing, because it's certainly needed. But anyway, Southern Gym, this is my BNI roster. I usually put the BNI people all together. So, but of course, Gayla, at BNI, we just love her, and she's very, very good at what she does. She has all the certifications and qualifications and whatnot. This isn't just a wholesale jewelry store. This is a jeweler, and she has great inventory. She has repair. She has cleaning. Robin will be with her in a couple weeks on a more consistent basis. Robin has just less than a month to go at Centennial High School. So,
and it's very unique. Her jewelry is very unique.
We may see Robin more at the BNI meetings representing Gayla.
Yeah,
because she's going to be working for her.
That's good.
It really is a nice place, and they're going to be expanding. They're right in the beginning stages of moving downstairs from the third floor of the Windmill Building. They're going to go down to the first floor to have extra space. They'll be right next to that American Revelry restaurant.
Very nice.
Yeah, it is. Also, our friend Michelle. Now you're a member of Hot Works, right?
Yes, from this morning.
Yeah. How was that?
It's really it is very, very good. I like it because you can get a really good workout done in a short period of time, and that infrared heat really does help with like sore muscles, joints, and things like that. It is a good workout, and it's very, very time effective as well.
Which program do you use? There's like 11 of them.
Oh gosh, I do the elliptical. But she's going to be pushing me into the other saunas too, and it's
well, it's good for you.
It is really good for me, and I even noticed Tuesday night. I just started back this week. I did sleep better. I slept better. I'm hoping for that tonight too. But that 5:30 in the morning comes really early when I do the morning. So
yeah,
but
it's a good workout. I can't tell you how many guests I've had sitting in that seat, and I put her sign up there. Oh, I do that, and they love it. Or and they have all these
And
testimonials.
it's open 24 hours a day. You can go anytime.
And
There's
it's
not an
safe.
excuse not to, and it's very safe.
Friend Robert Rise is watching us right now, so he does
is
it.
he?
Yeah.
Good old Robert.
Yeah, I know he testifies about how it works.
Yeah.
He goes like at 2 a.m. And he says, "Wait, the doors are open to him? No, they got codes and all this." And I've gone over there to see Michelle for sponsor care, if you will. And you have to be let in, so it's a secure environment. Also, another friend from BNI, Creative Concepts by Mandy. She does all the stuff that the cups and such. I know that you probably drink out of that Mr. Allard cup every day.
I do. I do. It's right there in my
on your
front
cabinet.
row.
Okay.
Front row waiting for me.
Well, she does a lot of stuff. She
does
a lot of people use her at BNI. She does the hats, pins. These what they did last Christmas with those woodworking boxes.
Those were really nice,
Really
and I
nice.
need to get some of those for this year for customers and referral sources.
Yeah, you betcha. Lisa Smith is going to be on the show in about a month. I know she got several for some of her customers.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Very nice. And and you're going to have our friend Dee Dee's going to be on
great.
in October as
Good.
well. And I know she does a lot of business with Mandy. So Creative Concepts by Mandy, it's on 1187. Give her a holler if you're looking for promotional items. They're all good. I think this, I'm sorry. I almost forgot this one. I can't forget. Danette. This is a Pinnacle Concepts. Danette's on board as an interior designer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's trying to get this moving like she had in Colorado. She had an interior design in Colorado. Now she's in Texas, and she wants to start the business up again. And so she's going to be on in about 2.5 weeks.
Oh, great.
And we'll talk about her trip from Colorado to Texas, what brought her here. But Danette Juster, who a lot of people know in this community, she joined Chamber of Commerce. She's part of like the police association. She's
very
around.
active.
Right. So if you want to talk to her about, redesigning your home or business, 303-324-9906. That's 303-324-9906. She's very creative, and I think she'll do you a great job.
I think she
we
will.
also have a couple other nonprofits that have got stuff going on. Tomorrow is the golf tournament for ASD over at Hidden Creek. I don't know if they're still taking teams, but you could find out by contacting the Center for ASD. And over at Hidden Creek, they're going to have $100 per player, $400 per team. I bet if a team showed up with $400 in hand, they'd squeeze them in somehow. And they have breakfast and lunch included. There's the margarita hole where Sarah Pierce is going to be,
Oh, is she going to be on the margarita hole?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sarah was on the show maybe about 6 months ago, and she does residential inspections and also does bartending, and she's going to be the bartender in that hole.
Good.
So after that hole, you're not going to really care about what you're shooting anymore. So that'll be helpful. And also on October 8th, we have Rise coming up, which is a mental health seminar over at Pathway. Sarah Nicole Tynan will be on the show the 26th of this month, and we're going to talk about it some more. She was on last month, and it's just basically a 6-hour meet and greet seminar, speakers, breakout sessions, people promoting products or services, things like that. So if you or somebody is looking for some sort of counseling situation, which I highly advise. I don't know hardly anybody anymore that doesn't have counseling of some sort.
Right.
It's a tough world.
Well, I mean,
I've been open about my own a few years ago, and it's not like I couldn't use it now, but back about a decade ago in particular, things are pretty rough, and for about 2-3 year period for me, and I needed counseling. Yep. And I got it from Promises here in town, which is related to my church, but there's all sorts of them, both faith-based and secular, right, whatever you want to call it. So we got that. Also, I know that 2 weeks from today, we're going to have this special show. I have 5 groups lined up, and they're going to come in and talk about their particular nonprofit. It's North Texas Giving Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so they're going to all be here, hopefully, and just going to have a little party, and they're just going to come and take your seat, and we'll talk, have their stuff on the screen.
That's awesome.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I like doing those kind of shows.
Those are fun.
Because I could complain about Joe Biden anytime I want.
That's right. That's exactly right. But just to support.
He's the gift that keeps on giving. But anyway, I had to throw that in there.
Very true.
All right. Now let's talk about your particular one. Taylor, do you have her logo for that? And there we go. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, Fort Worth Teen Challenge.
Yeah, it's September 27th, which is a Tuesday. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's, I don't know, I'm getting all my dates mixed up. Yeah, September 27th. Tell us all about this.
Well, like you were saying, somebody needs help all of the time. I mean, it just doesn't matter. We all go through seasons of life that we need help. And Fort Worth Teen Challenge is a recovery home for anything from substance abuse to emotional issues to domestic abuse. Anyway, but it's a year-long program, and it's a faith-based program, and it is completely free. And so it's free to women 18 and older. And this ministry started in 42 years ago, actually 43 years ago now. And Larry and Larice Adley, Larry Adley is a director, and him and his wife have literally dedicated their entire married life to helping women. And there have been thousands and thousands and thousands of women's lives changed because of this program. And they only have one fundraiser a year, and it is the golf tournament.
Where else do you get the funding, though? Is it donations, or are there other philanthropy grants you get and things of that nature?
They can do. People can do a monetary donation. They can, of course, go play golf and sponsor a team there. They are having an auction. They need items for auction. And there's a breakfast and that morning, and then there's also a lunch, and at the lunch is when they'll have the video of women's testimonies of what God's done in their life through this program.
Well, it's in the Texas Star Golf Course, which is a really nice course.
It's a really nice course.
It's very nice.
It's been there for years.
Right. So. It's in Euless, so it's not too far out of the way, even if you live here in Burleson. And this is something that interests you. You know, golf is a good way to raise money, because several of our nonprofits will have some sort of tournament like tomorrow with ASD.
Right.
And then yours on the 27th, you have also longest drive, putting contest, I see, closest to the pin. You got all these various things.
Yes.
Now, this Fort Worth Teen Challenge is not a single entity. I mean, there's several other Teen Challenge homes, if you will, throughout the country, isn't there not?
Teen Challenge is all over the United States.
Right.
It started in New York City. I always want to say Bruce. It's Dave Wilkerson started this in the inner city, New York City, for teenagers.
Dave Wilkerson. Why does that name sound familiar?
The book, The Cross and the Switchblade.
That's what okay.
And he wrote that, and that's about when he started this ministry and why.
And it had a movie about it, too,
It did have a movie. It did have a movie about that, but that started just nationwide, and now actually Teen Challenges all over the world. A lot of teen challenges are now adult teen challenge under the adult teen challenge of Texas, because there's very few that take actual teenagers anymore because of the liability issues that come up with that they didn't have to worry about as much back then. So it's usually 18 and older, but there are still some teen challenges in the United States.
How long has this particular outfit been in Fort Worth? I know it's relatively new.
42 years.
I thought it was just a couple of years that they've been operating.
That was Abby's house.
Oh gosh, you're involved in so much.
I know. I have
Abby's
anything
house.
to do with helping women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Abby's house. We knew here before. We
Abby's
talked about
house,
that.
Fort Worth.
Okay.
Yes.
That
was a place that someone could go after they completed a program like this, or just a single woman or mother that. And actually, they've now gone to more monetary help instead of the actual home. But
so when you're here before, this is your second visit here, and hopefully not your last.
No.
Because you always seem like you're going to be involved in a lot of these things. So Abby's house and Teen Challenge are maybe not officially connected, but they do have a common thread.
They do.
And they're helping, particularly young mothers
that
are dealing in crisis situations.
Yes, restoring women from either substance abuse or, like I said, emotional. Any life-controlling issue that they might have. It's just, again, a faith-based Christ Center programs to get them back to being able to see themselves the way that God sees them.
Well, when you were here last up at Abby's house, you were connected through your church. Is that how you got connected with Teen Challenge?
Well, actually, I went to Teen Challenge.
You went to them?
I did. Yes, I was in that program.
Oh, my.
So, I was. Yes.
Well, that sounds like a story. I'll let you tell.
That's a story for a whole nother day.
Yeah, I don't want to ask too many personal questions about it.
No, and I don't mind at all. I give
right.
my testimony all the time, but I can tell you that.
Well, that's next time you're on the show, let's
Yeah, I would love to do
Yeah,
that.
I didn't. So when you said you went to Teen Challenge, I thought
I
when you
did.
first said that, I thought you meant you went to them to help them out, but you actually were a participant.
I was a participant in Teen Challenge.
Where?
In Fort Worth.
In Fort Worth?
In
Okay.
Fort Worth. At this one, actually, that's why I have such a heart for them. And but the Lord really turned my life upside down there and just changed everything for me because I was in a very, very dark place. Suffered from some PTSD and just turning to alcohol to numb that. And
Right.
I knew that I had to do something. And he just really picked me up and put me there.
Well, when you come back again, which I don't know, we'll figure it out after the show. It's a good time for you. I'd like to hear the story as much as you want to tell. I mean, I don't.
Absolutely.
Well, I know you probably said your testimony in public many times, but when I have a guest on the show and they're talking about themselves personally, I'll let them direct how much they want to talk about
Sure.
themselves. I don't want to ask all these questions like I'm Oprah Winfrey. Okay, when's the last time you cried?
When's the last time you cried?
Some of this business like that.
No.
I don't want to put the guest on the spot unless it's the mayor. I don't mind putting him on the spot. But anyway, that's fascinating because knowing as I know you now, I mean everybody you don't know what goes on people's past, but I know you be a very godly woman, and I would never have just guessed that you had a rough upbringing just by talking to you or
No.
listening to you.
Well, and I was raised in a Christian home with loving parents and stuff. This was just things that happened in my adult life that I had no control over. And then I just turned the wrong direction looking for that. And he said, no, I've got plans for you. So I'm going to put you over here in a safe place for a minute. And I'm going to get all these areas healed. And we're going to go and do what I called you to do.
And it's interesting. I mean, to say selling insurance is the same thing as a ministry might sound a little bit quaint.
It is.
But it is a ministry.
I look at it like that.
It is a ministry because
do.
you're using the gifts God has given you and the opportunities God has given you to help people with insurance. And people always think that a ministry has to be
No.
pastor or counselor, church, whatever. But
No.
anything you do to help people is a service unto the Lord, and that's what you're doing here with insurance.
Right. And, I tell people all the time, I care about your home being taken care of, and I care about your family being taken care of when something happens. But my biggest thing is what your eternal insurance looks like. I mean, that's because I do have an opportunity. I do get to meet people on a different level than just a regular service that is offered. People tell me a lot. They have to tell me a lot of things. So it's building that trust and that relationship there that I'm there for much more than insurance.
Well, if you approach it like that, it's like I thought of teaching as a ministry of sorts.
Absolutely.
And even if I ran a dry cleaner, if I do it, my ministry would be to do the best job I could and provide a great service, and that would be a testimony right there.
Yes.
So we don't, again, people think, well, I'm not a pastor, so I don't really have a job that is a ministry. Everybody's job done well is a ministry.
We are all ministers of the gospel.
Right. And so for you, you've been in insurance now 22 years?
Yes.
22 years ago, was it the reason why you got insurance, or has it become the reason why you're insurance?
I did, because my heart was to meet people before they were in a crisis and help them to, on the home and auto side, not so much. I was learning about that. And now that I've been in this for as many years as I have, it definitely is a ministry, because I can tell you, I've been through homes that have burned down. I've been through homes that have blown down, and I've been through homes that have flooded where they've had to replace everything they own. And being able to give them a peace of mind on the side of it's going to be fixed. We're gonna fix this for you. I'm working for a company that will stand behind that.
Well, when I switched over my insurance to you, for me, I felt it was a period of discomfort in a sense, because not because of you.
I know, but change. No, I know. I'm laughing because change is hard.
Well, it is, because insurance, like I've had these people for a while, and I just didn't think about it, except for when the bill came in every month, and that's the only time I ever thought about it. And now I actively looked into what I had, and actively looked into what I was paying, and the transition. Okay, open what I'm doing, and it's nice to have somebody that takes your kind of attitude towards it. That this is not just your check cleared and I'll see you later. But
It's not a sell for. I mean, it's not about sales.
no, right. You see this as a relationship that you built, and God's going to hold you accountable how you handle that
That's
relationship.
exactly right.
So that's why Rob and I did it. Is we are saving some money, but,
Right, but still.
I don't know if it's going to be lifestyle changing, but it is enough. Maybe I could finally break down and take her out to
You
dinner
can
somewhere.
take her to dinner at our place.
Yeah, she's been wanting me to do that for a while. But there's a couple other places she's been talking about wanting to go.
Mm-hmm.
But our place is the first place she's mentioned because I keep talking about it. And so there you are. We're running close on time, so I want to run through the sponsors real quickly again, and then you get the last word to talk about not just insurance, but also about Teen Challenge.
Okay.
Thank you, Daniel. Hope you're doing well. I hope things are going well at the gym. I hear they are. I mean, I hear nothing but good things about this place on 317 Southwest Wilshire, that it's clean and well lit, and you got supervision and trainers, so it's not just they'll go in there and work out and hope you're doing what your best you can. You're going to get some assistance in your whatever goals you have. So thank you, Daniel at CrossFit Burleson. Thank you to Shandy. Hope you're enjoying your time in Tennessee. And had her on about 2 weeks ago. We got to talk about rates and houses, and I have her on every quarter because things are changing that much. And and I really like those shows with her because she didn't just come in and just starts rattling off stories. She comes in with her homework all done. Mm-hmm. She and Daniel are former students of mine.
Oh, okay.
And so is Chris at Wild Cigar. And it's kind of fun to still see them develop into the people they are, professional,
right.
Big timers, Mm-hmm. Also, thank you to Otto. We were just talking about you. I'll see you at our place, and probably see sometime this. We're going to try to see you this weekend. Tell you what, though, I make a joke about his place, our place, that Yogi Berra said about a restaurant. I said this on Tuesday's show as well. Is that you go there, it's almost always full. Mm-hmm. And
it is.
Yeah, and Yogi Berra said, "Oh, nobody goes to that restaurant anymore. It's too crowded." And that's an old,
Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded.
Yeah, and so.
Yeah, that's funny.
And you go on Labor Day. I drove by there. I mean, they're 10 in the morning. They were sitting outside waiting.
Yep.
And if they're waiting for food.
It's very good food.
Yeah.
It is very good food.
And then you have Chris over at Wild Cigar. I've been here, since it's been open 3, 4, 5 times. Mm-hmm. And it's a nice place. A lot of people think of cigar bars as dank and smoky. It's very well lit. It's very well ventilated. So what kind of cigar do you like?
That would be negative.
That would be negative. Well,
That'd be negative.
But if you have somebody in your life, you can go get them a gift card there.
Yeah.
So I just there you go. Yeah. I just can't imagine you sitting back with a cigar.
Yeah,
but,
probably not.
But I have been in there at least twice that I know of. I've seen there's women smoking cigars.
Oh, it's a thing.
Michelle smokes them.
I know, it's a thing.
So it's not unusual.
Nope.
But Wild Cigar has a big event tomorrow night, so once you drop on by, if you got a hankering for a decent cigar, and they have the bar open, and they'll have the TVs going. Also, thank you to Tiffany. Hope you're doing well. I know you're doing well. It's going to be a while before I can start calling her Tiffany Nico. I'm going to call her Tiffany Griffin until she tells me otherwise.
So she says you have to stop it?
Yeah. Well, she really is a good businesswoman.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten to know her since she's become a sponsor, and I've seen the inside of the operation, so to speak, and man, she really works at it, and she takes care of her advertisers. So I could recommend her.
I need to get with her.
Yeah, you do. Not just because she's a sponsor.
No,
but,
I know. I just need to do that.
And also, thank you, of course, to you, and hopefully, even if you think you're set on insurance, it would not hurt to have Melissa look it over. Because I know, let's say you give her your insurance information, and she comes back to you and says, "Well, we really can't match that." That's what you're going to hear. You're going to get the truth. You're not going to get like, well, maybe we can. You're going to save money or not.
Right.
And she'll let you know. So anyway,
I really don't even talk about the price of it. When I review a policy, it's making sure that you have the coverages that you need. Because and there are times that there are some companies out there that have the same coverages as we do that,
Mm-hmm.
I would not ever say, oh, well, you need to leave them. I mean, again, I have 22 years of experience, and you'll have my cell phone. I don't know many people that have their agent's cell phone number.
682-804-0534. So give her a holler and free inspection if nothing else.
That's right.
So thank you to Gail over at Southern Gym. It's getting ready for Christmas time. I know it sounds crazy. I walk into Walmart and, well, I don't go to Walmart. Sam's.
Yeah, don't go
It's
to
the same thing, but I'm not a big Walmart person. But Sam's, everybody goes to Sam's. And they got the Halloween decorations up. But if you look in the back corner, you can see the creeping of Christmas coming in, the decorations and all this other stuff.
All the toys are already out. It just reminds me that I've got 5 grandchildren and I've got a lot of toys to buy this year.
And they expect Gigi to come through big.
They sure do, and so I've got to start doing that early because that gets expensive if you wait till December.
Well, but with Gayla, the stuff she sells is really good stuff, and so
Beautiful.
if you'd go maybe think about Christmas in September, you can maybe put it on some sort of plan of some sort. I don't know. She could talk to you about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if she does offer layaway plans, but she might be able to help you and get into that piece of jewelry for your loved one.
Absolutely.
So you have to talk to her about what her payment plans are, but. She'll help you pick out something really nice for your husband or wife. Also, thank you to, of course, Michelle at Hotworks. I hope you're doing well. Like I said, she'll be on the 19th. She's doing that poker charity for glioblastoma.
Yes.
So she'll be on a week from Monday.
Cook's Children's.
Yeah, it's a busy month for a lot of different groups.
It is.
And so she likes to do these things. She'll pick out some sort of situation, shall we say, that has touched her personally. Yes. And I'll let her explain that on the 19th. I don't know the whole story there, why glioblastoma in particular, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
So Hotworks over on 731, right beside Chicken Salad Chick, which, by the way, I just joined the Chamber of Commerce, and they're having their next get-together Tuesday night there, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, at Chicken Salad Chick?
Yeah. I bet you're a patron of that place.
I do go there.
Yes.
Yes, I do go there.
Yeah, a lot of people do. And then we have Creative Concepts by Mandy. She'll hook you up with what you need for promotional items, hats, cups, pins, shirts. Taylor's used them and raves about them. Of course, he raves about a lot of things.
Well, she's doing our shirts for the golf tournament tomorrow for BNI.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's doing our T-shirts for us for that.
And she's doing it at cost.
Yeah.
That's her contribution.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice to see how people contribute to these things.
Yeah, she is. She's very sweet.
Yeah. And of course, tomorrow at the ASD tournament at Hidden Creek, even if you're not signed up, I bet if you showed up and they're going to have things to auction, I bet if you just wanted to watch golf and throw in a few bucks.
I'm looking forward to going just to find out more about, how that center operates. So.
Yeah. Well, I've had them on 3 times, and they sometimes bring video, and it's just impressive. Yeah. And everybody that knows the center just rave about it. They think it's just wonderful. The mayor's a big supporter of it, and it's one of his favorite charities. And so there you go.
Yeah.
Also, I just remember, not just about tomorrow, but also remember Pinnacle Concepts with Danette Juster. Yes. She's trying to get the interior decorating. She's going to be on the show, like I said, on the 29th, and I'm going to have her bring some photos of some of her examples of her work and whatnot. She does interior design. She does a little commercial real estate as well, but I think this is what she's pushing.
She's very detailed.
Yes.
She's very detail-oriented, so I can see her being very, very good at that.
Oh, absolutely. 303-324-9906. So if you think about redecorating your home or know somebody is, give her a holler. Okay. I appreciate you being here. So you get the last word. Talk about what you want.
Well, I would love to be able, anybody that would like for me to just review their coverages. Again, a lot of things have changed in the insurance industry since January of this year. Deductibles have changed on the homeowners' policies. Then people, if they're not reading their policy right, they're not going to know that. It's not something that they're pointing out. And if somebody has a $500,000 home, that's quite an increase if your deductible goes to a 2% deductible on wind and hail. And then also just water coverage and things like that. It just is important for somebody that knows what they're looking at to look at your policy with you, whether you change or not, to know what's covered and what is not. That way you're not surprised. You don't want to be finding out you're not covered when you have a claim. And as far as Fort Worth Teen Challenge, that golf tournament on September 27th, of course, that ministry is near and dear to my heart, but I would love anybody that would like to donate something for their auction that's going to go on during the lunch or participate in the tournament itself, there are still teams available, and you can buy just one, for one golfer.
How would they get in contact to be part of that? Who would they contact? Where
I
would they
think
do
the
it?
number's on there.
If you would, Taylor. There you go. Thank you.
It is 817-336-8191. And that is the number to the office, 817-336-8191. You can talk to Mary Ellis, or you could talk to Leela. I know that she's getting prizes together as well. Really, just anybody answers the phone, they would get you to who you needed to. But more importantly, too, than the golf tournament, I do want support for that. But if you know anyone that's suffering with a woman that is suffering with any life-controlling issue, depression, substance abuse, coming out of a bad domestic situation, the Lord uses that ministry in a mighty way to turn people's lives around. So, they are there, and a lot of people don't know about them. And again, it is free.
Well,
and so that's what these donations are going for, is to pay for that ministry to keep going.
It's to your credit that you're involved in so many of these things, and to your credit, certainly, that you take the approach you do to your profession, because people will be blessed by it, even if it's something as mundane as insurance.
I know.
And so,
I appreciate that very much.
Let's see, what next week? Like I mentioned, Monday's kind of wide open right now. I'm talking with a potential guest, but I'll wait to see if that actually happens. But Tuesday's the mayor. Next Thursday is Next Step Women's Center, and I'm looking forward to all of those things. Yeah. So, Taylor, Thank you for being so nimble on the computer keyboard.
As always.
And we'll see y'all next time.